Hey friends, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Feeling Saucy with DeAndre and Tyrone. How you doing, my brother?
You know, it's another week. What's up, bro?
Hey,
Uh, dude, look at this. We got our logo up.
I know. It's looking a little saucy
It's looking a
over
little
here.
saucy,
You know.
It's looking good. I love it. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
And it was really fun making this logo too.
It was. It was.
Like, it was fun because we didn't really have like an idea how we wanted this to turn out, and it just kind of just came together. We were trying to build it, and then we just like, man, this is taking too much. This is taking too long. Like, there's so many programs out there that's already got templates that we could just choose from and throw it together. So
Exactly.
I'm glad that we simplified it.
It does. Sometimes the simplicity is what's needed, but I like because we also added our little flavor into it too.
Yeah.
So we took what it was, but put
Yeah,
it into where it fit
yeah,
both of us at the same time. But it's looking good. I like it.
I like it too. And I really love the part where it says "feel it." It's like that yellow. It's like I feel something. I don't know what it is, but I feel it. I'm feeling the sauce. Okay.
It makes me think of? It makes me think of SpongeBob, the episode of SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs.
Yeah.
Mr. Krabs got the little circle, the circus, the merry-go-round or whatever, and he's going, and then they're like, "Do you feel it now, Mr. Krabs? Do you feel it now? Do you feel it now?" And he's all, "Oh, I'm feeling it, all right. You want to know how much I'm feeling it? Yeah."
That is awesome. See, that reminds me of my childhood. That's a good space to talk about childhood, our roots, the roots of us. Because I remember, when I was a kid, I loved SpongeBob. Like, that was my thing. And SpongeBob, back in the day on Comcast, it was just like back to back to back to back. Like, you got multiple hours of SpongeBob. Like, they was heavy on the SpongeBob episodes.
I know you memorize that theme song so quickly. Yeah, no, SpongeBob was we used to my dad, my siblings and I we used to all my dad loved SpongeBob. So
Your dad loves SpongeBob?
Yeah, so he used to always sit there and just watch SpongeBob all the time. That was like the family show.
Yeah, that's so funny. I have an uncle. I remember when I was a kid, I think I was 11, and I was at my uncle's house, his Uncle Toller, and he was like, "Oh, I love SpongeBob." And I was like, "That grown man loves SpongeBob," but it was just kind of cool, he loves SpongeBob. And I was like, "That's lit. I'm not the only one." But that was something I could connect with him on. It's just I love for SpongeBob.
Exactly, but if you really think about it, too, as an adult, when you start watching some episodes, sometimes I'll be on back and watch and listen to what they're saying. And there's some things in there that you're like, "Whoa, I did not, I did not."
I didn't catch that. The light turns on,
Exactly. You're like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
it's crazy."
Yeah.
But it is there for kids, but also like the adults, so it kind of fits both to some type of point and everything. But growing up, that was definitely. Was there any shows that you guys were into or you were into?
Thinking back to when I lived with my grandmother, which is my mom's mom, she loved the Flintstones. Yabba dabba doo, the little feet and the little card, so when I would watch cartoons, and I would pick the Flintstones. I remember she would come sit with me and she'd watch it with me. And that was like a bonding moment for us. That was kind of cool. Like, I loved that. I loved having that experience, with her. Because it was the Flintstones came out in the '60s. I'm almost positive the Flintstones in the '60s. That makes sense. And she was born, I want to say, in the '60s, I think.
Oh yeah, so I was definitely around for time, like
growing up.
It wasn't old, but it was kind of it's been around for a few years, where people really started getting into it. I'm sure that was probably like the prime of Flintstones.
Yeah, that was like the prime, but also it was old.
Yeah.
Here I am, popped out in 1996, so I'm getting the better quality version of it, and she got probably the black and white.
Did she have any versions back then,
She never had it, she wasn't like a collective person like that, but she definitely enjoyed the show.
Mm-hmm.
Also Scooby Doo, That was our thing.
Scooby Dooby Doo.
Scooby Dooby Doo, where are you? We need some help from you now.
You know, it's so funny. I used to always say instead of that, I'd be like, "We got some work to do now."
Yeah.
That's how I
And that's who you grew up to become.
Yeah.
A man that works. Because you got a lot going on.
Yeah, I mean,
You
hey,
work hard.
you got to get ahead somehow. It's only temporary.
That's right. That's right. I mean, you know.
It's better to do it now being young.
Yeah, yeah, me too. I hit my 20s hard. I was like, I'm work. I'm gonna become a millionaire before I'm 30, and you know, I'm still waiting on that.
Yeah.
But
the time comes. The time comes when it comes. You know,
does.
it comes at the right time. But I think growing up has a lot to do with it. A lot of like, I feel like my like drive and want to do more comes a lot from my family growing up. They're all about trying to push forward. And my dad taught us to really be like business oriented as kids and things like that. Like I was running a candy store out of my backpack in like third grade, fourth grade, sitting there by a whole pound of 5 pounds of chili suckers. You know, and yeah, I used to get like a whole bag.
Is that like the Mexican candy?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was like the mango ones because those are the more popular ones.
Yeah.
And then you can get like a big old giant bag, like a 1 pound bag for like $5.
Oh.
At that time. Yeah, now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But $5, and then I would make like a $20 profit off of it.
Wow. Smart man.
Hey, that's my dad. My dad taught us. He was, you know, he taught us business. He taught me all of them, like my siblings and all of us. Like really just value of a dollar and investing it into yourself and stuff like that. So it's kind of why I kind of have the mindset of trying to do more.
Yeah. Well, I guess you know this is a good transition again too, as far as like talking about our roots. Like you kind of touched like how your dad was showing you financial literacy at a young age. Like what's some roots that kind of shaped DeAndre, like that you carry into your life today?
Oh,
I know that's a loaded question.
You
feel it?
Oh, I'm feeling it now. Are you really feeling it?
Well, you know, I'm holding the gun. Let's get to it.
Man, it's so much that really made me hungry from childhood. There's so many, both positives, both negatives. But you know, childhood, everyone has their positives and negatives.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
A lot of it is learning business mindset from my dad, being able to grow up with my siblings, kind of having each other because my sister, she's about a year and a half older than I am. And then I have a brother that's about 4 years younger than I am. And then another brother that's 6 years. So we all kind of grew up. My sister and I grew up together. We were together a lot of the time until our brothers kind of went with their mom. But just kind of having siblings around the same age. And that's when I was with my dad before I went with my mom anyways. But I think during that time, there was a lot of like family, like we would ride dirt bikes together. And you know, I think I touched on it a little bit last episode, where playing basketball, played a lot of basketball. As you know, if you don't know, you better tune in to the last one because you're missing out on that conversation.
Episode 1 was pretty lit, y'all.
So you know, all that time I spent on basketball, and then you know, tough sibling love too.
Yeah.
Sitting there, I remember my sister. She whooped my ass one day because I was sitting there hitting her with a pillow. I think I brought it up to her. She doesn't remember, but I remember we were having a pillow fight, and you know, being a boy and everything, you know, you take everything extra. You don't know how to go light. You just go all in. So I was pounding her with the pillow.
Yeah.
And then she whooped my ass. She literally pushed me, jumped on top of me, and just started wailing on me. Wow. And so you know, you got the tough love there too. You know, running your mouth to each other.
Yeah.
Sister and I got into it a lot. Again, basketball court.
Yeah.
I used to piss her off all the time because I was I tried to be an aggressive basketball player. So when she had the ball, I would try and go grab the ball and try and tear it out of her hands.
Uh-huh.
And she was also aggressive too, so she would lock on and she would swing like that, but I would not hold, I would not let go. So you see my whole body just going with her.
Oh, snap.
And so, so she's a little bigger than me, so she definitely had a lot more momentum than I did. But DeAndre was holding on.
Yeah.
I wasn't letting go.
Not letting that ball go.
So no. But so kind of experiencing, sibling tough love, real love, having each other's support when that, during that time. Also, kind of growing up,
Yeah.
being black in today's society, I also had to learn racism at a young age.
Yeah.
I think my first racism experience, I was in third grade. Say I was getting into, well, the guy was trying to get at me, trying to like get me intimidated and everything. But I still remember, like, it was just like third grade. He was talking about how he was gonna like slit my throat after school and all this craziness. And
that wasn't here in Oregon, right? Where were you
no,
living?
it was California.
California, what part?
SoCal.
Okay.
There's a lot of like everyone keeps to themselves.
Yeah.
Also, it was like there would be like race fights. I think race fights first started when I got to middle school. They would do like blacks versus Mexicans. There wasn't many white people.
Okay.
And there wasn't too many Asians.
Yeah.
Most of the time it was blacks versus Mexicans, but like the black people hung out with black people.
Yeah.
The Hispanics hung out with the Hispanics.
So there was like.
So usually you saw black people playing basketball, or we were over there playing football.
Yeah.
Supposed to be 2-hand touch, but when teachers aren't looking, you try and take advantage of it.
Yeah.
And then the Hispanics, they're always at the table chatting it up. I remember like times you'd be like, oh, there's gonna be a fight today. It's gonna be blacks versus Hispanics today, so make sure you watch your back. It's gonna be going down right when the bell rings, which means like going home. I remember getting into a fight at the bus stop with this Hispanic kid that lived down the street. And then that kind of, so experiencing racism, stuff like that. I can kind of go on and on and on.
Yeah.
And then when I went with my mom, so I got separated from my mom when I was about 5. Saw her a few times before I went back into work with her when I was about 11, I would say. Okay. I'm pretty sure it was 11. It was eighth grade is when I came back with her.
Okay.
And then from there we moved to Nevada. So
I lived in Nevada too.
Huh.
Yeah, I lived in Vegas.
You're gonna have to tell me about that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get into that.
We are.
Yeah, okay. Keep going.
So we were in right outside of Reno, a small town called Fernley.
Okay.
Not many people heard of it. It's like 30 minutes going inland.
Okay.
It goes like Reno and then Sparks, and then you go further past Sparks.
It's like nothing out there though.
No.
Yeah, it's nothing. It's so boring. I feel bad for y'all that live over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got nothing.
My mom lives there right now with my stepdad.
Oh, bless your heart, sweetie.
But that was definitely an interesting transition. It was my first time moving out of California. And made some really good friends. My neighbor, she had a grandson. I remember the first day I was there. She's like, I got a grandson your age. He's actually coming over later. You should meet him. And so then I ended up meeting him. His name's Dustin. Him and I are like brothers. We talk every day to this day.
Oh, that's awesome.
He was a year older than I am, but we've been friends since I was 11. He was 12. So, yeah. So we had each other, and then where I kind of started feeling a little bit more, I was kind of an outsider in things. I was the new kid, everybody grew up together. So I didn't know too many people. So I kind of kept to myself. There was this kid that kind of came up to me when I think he saw me the first day he came up to me. And he's like, hey, how's it going? He introduced himself to me, and we kind of hung out and everything. Um, I met his family, and we just became good friends. We don't really talk anymore. We were friends for a few years, and then he ended up moving. And during that age, you come and go, come and go.
Mm-hmm.
If you do have a friendship during that time, that's like a solid friendship that sticks around. But usually, if they move out of town, kind of the end of the friendship. Unless you kind of circle back. But uh, yeah, I think during that time, it's kind of where my eyes opened up a little bit more with racism and everything. Kind of living what it's like living outside of California.
Mm-hmm.
I saw like, what was it? I was in quite a few fights. I remember getting suspended from school. I got in a fight in the middle of a Pledge of Allegiance with someone. He was being racist. So I went in there and I approached him the moment I walked through that class. And then remember going around, I was carrying like a knife in my bag. He used to carry a knife on me. There's one time where I used to get like calls saying, go back to Africa, this, that, on and on and on.
Back to Africa, it's crazy.
Yeah, it would be like, go back to Africa. Nobody wants you. ER. Nobody wants you here. And I was like, all right, well, then, tell me how you feel. Let's meet up right now. Let's handle this.
Yeah, let's handle this.
Be about your. We can talk. Let's do the walk.
Mm-hmm.
This is where I'll be at. I'll see you shortly.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would go. I used to carry like a cement-filled pipe right here. I would tuck it right here, so that way it wasn't popping out of my pants leg.
Yeah.
And then it would be like, it'd go all the way up, like right here to my waistband. So the waistband will hold it against my body, so that way you didn't see it like flapping in my pants.
Wait a minute. So it went from here all the way to here?
Yeah, it was probably about, I don't know if you can see it, but it was not that big, just full of cement. And then I had
How many days a week did you carry that around?
I didn't bring it to school.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It was when people were calling me, and I was like,
right.
It was after school.
After
that was
school.
Usually at nighttime.
Right, nighttime, you meeting up with somebody. Okay, so
yeah.
Self-defense. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So, and then I'd have like a knife, carried a knife. I carried a knife all the time.
Okay.
To school.
Yeah.
Not at school.
Yeah.
But when I would go and meet up with people after, I'd have the cement-filled pipe. I had this Giants baseball bat. It was a wooden bat, like this large. Mm-hmm. And I would wrap it in, like in the belt loop, in the interior of my pants.
Oh, wow.
DeAndre was ready.
DeAndre was ready.
Yeah. And so
he said, "I am not to fuck around and find out type of guy." Like,
I may be quiet. I may keep to myself, but if I gotta handle my business, I will handle my business. I prefer not to go that direction, but I will go that direction.
Absolutely. I understand that.
I saw the KKK. Crazy. Yeah, dealt with nooses, had a gun held in my head, you name it. It was just crazy. Yeah. But I really intensified the racism. But growing up, kind of changing the subject. I don't want to go too much on that.
Kind of touch it a little bit, yeah, so we can find out how we got to where we are today.
Yeah. So I was really lost.
Yeah.
And I didn't know like how to talk about it. Like, no offense to my mom. She's white. I felt like she wouldn't truly understand. But I also didn't give her the chance to talk to her about it. I didn't know how to take it, so I would write in a notebook to get my thoughts out. I would blame my mom when I shouldn't have. But I think I was just trying to find something to blame. She got upset about it. I do apologize, I didn't mean to, just trying to figure it out, being a kid, just trying to figure it out. It makes me a little nervous from over here.
Well, I mean, you're speaking valid points because, there's other men out there that feel and can relate to that, especially like being a biracial kid. It sounds like your mom was primarily one in the household raising you. Your dad, was he there as well?
I don't know my biological father.
See, that too. A lot of people can relate to you. And so it's like, having those feelings of like, okay, like I have two versions of me, two parts of me that live inside of me, but I only live with one version of me.
Yeah.
You don't understand the other version of me.
And then,
And that's a valid feeling.
yeah.
You know? So
And then
some
there's
grace. I got you.
And then there's another side of it where you try and hang out with the black crowd, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you're too light skinned. Oh, you're white. You're not black."
Yeah.
So it's like it's like, okay, I'm perceived. When you ask me today, who's DeAndre? I'm black.
Amen.
That's the way I identify.
Yeah.
Everyone has the way they identify.
Yeah.
But so yeah, you have that, like, you're in that middle ground where it's like, I don't belong with white people, but the black people feel like I don't belong with them. So you really feel alone, and you got to figure out a way to push forward, and it takes a while. It takes a lot of up and downs, a lot of wavy days, a lot of days where you think, I don't know how much I can take. Days where, like, I'm doing great, I'm figuring this out.
Yeah.
But I think once you get past all that, once you actually hit like adulthood, you don't have all that stuff going on. It still goes on, obviously.
Oh, absolutely.
But as an adult, people aren't as vocal towards you about it as you are as like being kids.
Yeah.
Kids, you don't have no filter.
Yeah, and also you ain't got no bills to pay.
Yeah.
You at work, you gotta get that check. So like you kind of suppress and mask your real self a lot of times because you have to put on this personality for work. You have to be a certain person. You gotta show up at a certain time. You gotta clock in. You gotta clock out. You gotta be something.
Yeah.
There's guidelines, there's rules, and there's compliance, and there's regulation, and so when you're a kid in school, you get to just be you and discover and follow whatever crowd you want to follow, and there's no hardcore consequences. There's consequences, of course, but like a lot of stuff gets swept under the rug a lot of times. Like, and it's still to this day, even in Gresham, between Barlow and Gresham High School, like I hear stories about these black kids dealing with being called monkeys today, and these teachers are not doing a whole lot, and it's very offensive.
And they don't do a whole lot. When I was growing up, I had a teacher that was very disrespectful. He would look at me and he'd be like, "I can look at you and tell you're not going to be successful in this world." He's all like, "You're not even going to graduate high school." He went out of his way to go onto Google, type in jobs that you don't need a high school diploma, put it right on the wall and in front of the whole class. He's all like, "DeAndre, you may want to take a look at this list because you ain't going nowhere in your life."
Wow.
Teachers saying that. And then so you can't count on teachers. And I think that's why I came to the point where I'm like, okay, well, if I'm going to go through things, I think that's also why I didn't go to my mom, because the adults I had going through that were teachers. The teachers weren't there. So I kind of looked at my mom in a way I shouldn't have, because she was just an adult, is the way I was looking. So that's where I started like, okay, well, you know what? I'm carrying a knife. I'm carrying my ass a cement-filled pipe, and I'm going to bash anybody's head in who I need to. I don't care about the damn consequence.
That's right. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's my life or your life, and guarantee
I'll come first.
I'm putting my life before I'm putting your life. And then during that time, that's where you introduce the alcohol and stuff like that. And, if you're lost, being a kid, just that age, you don't know the limit, First time drinking, you're like, oh, I don't even know. The overdoing alcohol, that's a whole learning lesson in itself right there. But I feel like I didn't really start finding myself until probably 2016, 17 is when I really started diving deep into myself, which isn't even that long ago. Was that 8 years ago?
Okay.
And actually when I moved here, moved to Portland. And so it's kind of part of my sleeve right here too. It's kind of Portland themed, trees, waterfall, mountain up here.
Yeah.
It's kind of like where I first started like really diving into who is DeAndre? What does he stand for?
Yeah.
How do I overcome everything I've been through? I'm not a victim, but how am I going to be a victor? How am I going to not allow this? Because there's difference. I feel like that's the difference where people start taking things that they experience and they become a victim. And then that's when they start going into drugs, start getting into alcoholism, start going in and out of jail, in and out of prison, things like that, because they don't know how to take control and direct. That goes back. That's where my mindset when I was last episode, but like even when we were personally talking, where I talked about you got to learn to take control of your thoughts.
Yes.
Because that's where your thoughts take control over you, and they will definitely take control if you allow them to.
Yeah.
So doing that, I did like the first thing I did is I went into like a market. You know, I was always business mindset. Always business mindset. So the first thing I did is I moved here. I moved here. I started working at a car dealership. I learned that car dealership isn't really where I want to work. I got promoted a couple of times throughout there, and I kind of hit my max. And then I went into network marketing. Tried doing that.
PTSD.
I learned that no, that type of business was not for me.
Yeah. Bless all the hearts of people that are involved in those things.
I feel like too, you know, I wish you the best of luck. I wish you the most success. It just wasn't what I was looking for.
Thank you for all the wisdom and guidance, and books and things that helped along the way.
Exactly what you're saying. You can take so much lessons out of that, and that was really what drove me in the direction to become who I am today. Because then I took that knowledge, and I applied it to my life. And then I started going on hikes. I'd go hike by myself. People are like, "Why do you hike by yourself?" That's the most best time to hike, because silence. You're in your own mind. Don't hike with music either. Please, just don't do it, because hiking is just be one with nature, one with the outdoors. You're spiritual. That's where you bring God in. Hike with Him. You know, and that's where you really tie into yourself. So I used to go on hikes, and at the end of the hike, sit there, bring a notebook, sit down, enjoy my view, and just write what was on my mind. Didn't have to be complete sentences, just write my thoughts down, get my thoughts out. It gives you the same emotion as if you're talking about it. And then with that, then I started learning how to control. And then I started realizing that no one's going to lay their head down. No one's going to take in the thoughts that I have. And no one is going to live every day the life that I'm living. So at the end of the day, I need to do what's best for me. So people started telling me like, "Oh, you should do this, or you should do that," when it comes to certain things. And during that time, when I was going through like that beginning stages, like yes, you know, I was a yes person.
Yes, man.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. I was.
Yep. Sure thing.
You know, because you know, you feel like you're trying to figure it out, but you're trying to. You don't know what it is you're figuring out. You know what you're trying to come from to figure out. So you think any solution someone gives you is going to work.
Exactly.
And then I learned that I didn't feel true to myself.
That wall.
Yep. Came to a point where it's like I'm not being who I am as a person. We only have one life. I could die tomorrow. But the way I looked at it is, if the day my time comes, I want to make sure that I was being true to who I was as a person. Because nobody else is going to be me on this earth. No one else is going to replace DeAndre.
That's right.
So I'm going to rob myself from myself. I'm cheating myself.
That's right.
Also, people who care about me, I'm cheating them from what I potentially can bring into their life.
Yeah.
And then things that I can bring into their life, they can feed off of and bring things into my life.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's a learning experience, going through things in childhood, taking the tough lessons, the tough experiences, going into transitioning from I'm a victim into I'm a victor. I'm gonna overcome. The difference between a lot of people think that when you I've talked to some people like on personal levels and they're like, oh, I'm going through this and I just can't get past it. I keep thinking about it. I keep thinking about it. You're always gonna think about it just because it was something traumatic that happened to you. But are you gonna let it determine? Again, are you gonna let it determine your mind?
Yeah.
Are you gonna let it control you every day?
Yeah.
Are you gonna let it rob you of your life?
Yeah.
Those people are long and gone. You can't go back in history. You can't change that. You don't want to change that. If you ask me today, I would never want to.
I like that. You say you don't want to change that.
You don't.
You want to explain why for like a second? Why you don't want to change that? There's so much power
there
in what you just said.
Because if you look, every moment, every decision that you've made leading up to today has stitched you into the person that you are right now. And if you're not the person you are right now, that's okay. It stitched you. It is stitching you into the person that you're going to become. And you have to truly believe that.
You have to believe that.
It takes time to believe, but you have to truly believe that. So
thank you, brother. I just wanted to make sure that we shared that because that's so powerful, and people get stuck and hung up on that. And that's just a golden nugget that you could dip that into any sauce.
Exactly. Man, if we had sauce packets,
I'm telling you, we gotta get some sauces on this table.
Friends, we're friends. Look,
it's coming together.
We were talking. We had sauce packets talking. It was. Well, you'll get there. You'll see.
You'll see it.
But it's because when I look at it, it's all the decisions all the decisions that I made me into who I am today. If I didn't move in with my mom at the time that I did, if I didn't get separated from my mom in the time that I did, if I didn't experience the childhood, if I didn't move here, if I didn't do any of that in the timing I did, I could be a whole different DeAndre today. It'd be as simple as, oh no, I don't want to do this. I'd rather do this. Yeah. And that one decision was different than what I made in my life.
One thing I want to add to that is any blessing that's ever come into your life, it was right on time. Any good thing that stepped into your life when you needed something good or you were seeking something good and it came, it was on time. Any phone call that you got about a job offer was on time. Everything that has worked out for you or around you or to you that's impacted you was on time. So you got to learn how to trust time. And I'm speaking to myself first, and I'm speaking to my brother, and then I'm speaking to this camera screen because timing is everything. Like you got to go through the process.
You're speaking to them. You're speaking to our friends.
I'm speaking to my friends. I'm speaking to you guys. Yes, our friends. Yes, like this. You got to trust time. You got to trust time. But you also have to allow yourself to give things time. I find myself always trying to get in front of time and control the process. But the process is controlled by the time, not me. So
yeah, and that's where decisions and stuff starts changing when you're trying to be in control of everything.
Yeah.
Everything is gonna happen whether you're in control of it or not.
It's me. Hi. I'm the problem. It's me.
So we just have to be okay with the unknown. I feel just during my experience, I've learned that we have to have answers to everything.
Yeah.
And it's okay to not have answers and not to be in control. there's a difference between not being in control and allowing to happen what happened versus allowing something to happen to you that you can prevent. You may say, what do you say? What do you mean by that, DeAndre? What do you mean? Well, for example, the timing of all the events that happened in my life, it was supposed to happen. It was meant to happen when it happened. That timing happened at the right time.
Yeah.
Versus, oh, this person's over here in my face. Hold on, let me think. I have it in my mind, but I'm trying to figure out how to put it into words.
Okay.
It's like, I'm just literally giving the same example as I think about it.
Yeah.
It's just changing your perspective. Because, see, I'm catching myself about it right now.
Yeah.
I'm over here and doing this. So, like, okay, someone's in your face.
Yeah.
You can decide, okay, I'm going to walk away. That's a decision.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, that decision happened at the time it was supposed to happen. Yeah. So it kind of ties in together. If you really think about it, it ties in together. But it's not being a victim about it. Yeah. We're not victims. We're not. I used to always think I was a victim, but I'm not, because then you're just being, in my eyes, you're being self-centered. You're only thinking about yourself.
But it's natural to feel that way, especially when you don't have proper guidance on how to process and deal with emotions. Like, I was telling a friend not too long ago, I said, things happen for you, not to you. They happen for you. And if you allow yourself to look at life that way, like, I didn't get that promotion that I wanted. Okay, that sucks. I deserve it. I worked hard for it. X, Y, Z. And allow that negative feeling or that negative experience to control your whole entire day or week or month, then all that's going to do is just create a negative personality inside of you. And so when people see you or when they get an experience of you, it's negative. Because you felt you received something that you didn't want to receive, and you allowed that to make you a negative person. But you have to start thinking to yourself, like, how can I take this experience, or how can I take this? Oh, did I just speak some light right here, baby? Hey!
I'm about to add on to what you're dropping right now.
Because like, things happen for you, not to you. Maybe you didn't get that promotion because God has something bigger for you. Or maybe this didn't work out over here because what you don't know is in 3 weeks, you're going to shake the hands of somebody that's going to see you and really see you past even who you are in that moment. They're going to see something inside of you. And they're going to provide you the opportunity or they're going to open the door for you to walk through. But we don't know that. We just know that in this moment, I didn't get what I want. That's all we know. In this moment, I didn't get what I want. So, I'm a pal.
And on top of that, to add to that,
yeah,
I also think that what you're saying, you think things happen to you, and in a week or so, something's supposed to happen. Because you may pout, something may have happened to you at that moment, but then an hour later, you're supposed to meet somebody else. So like, oh, I just ran into you. I don't like what you said to me, and now I'm going to pout. An hour goes by, I'm still pouting. Hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. Lay my head down. Man, today was a rough day. Switch. Okay, let's switch it now. Oh, you know? Oh, man, I'm frustrated. But you know what? I know who I am.
That's right. Hey.
Hour comes by. I'm feeling great, That happened, but, he just doesn't know who I am. I'm going to keep pushing forward. Hey, what's up, DeAndre? Oh, living each day the best I can, on my Instagram.
That's your tagline?
No, it's living my best life or something.
Okay.
Something like that. But it's just like an hour later, I could be running into somebody else, and they could be like, I like your energy.
Yeah.
I might have something for you.
Yeah.
But because maybe I pouted, hour, 2 hours, 3 hours.
Ooh, speaking.
He may look at me and be like, oh, he's just negative.
Yeah.
He's definitely, or it doesn't even cross their mind.
Yeah, it just doesn't cross their mind.
Yeah,
They just see that, and it's like, okay,
Yeah, I'll talk to him, but he's a cool person. Versus, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do.
Just kind of letting it go. But a lot of it's going back to learning who you are as a person.
It goes back to the roots. Like
Yes.
and these are the things. Oh, the Spirit's speaking to me. These are the things that shape your identity. It's because those roots, those things, those experiences, those stories, all of those things help you become you. And, you know, all of this is for a reason and a purpose. And you just, you have to train yourself. You know, like you have to take time to love on yourself, train yourself, and not become a person that's how mama did it, that's how daddy did it, that's how grandma did it. Okay, that's awesome, but life is fresh for you. Life is fresh for all of us. Like let's embrace the fact that we could do things differently. We could take the tools and build something new, you know, and we can change the world and we can create a fresh experience. You know, we can remix things and we could take those old things because they're still tools, they're still valuable lessons, and we could add our own flavor to it and make it better. We can still lead life forward and still use those tools, but not exactly do everything the same way that everyone else did it because we're not there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're living in a different decade. You know,
Yeah.
we're born, like I said last week, all of our fingerprints are different from one another. Living and dead, no one will match because we're born different. We have something inside of us that's different from everyone else, and we have to give birth to that in this time. We're on this earth walking and breathing. So,
And for those friends that are like,
I'm setting light up for myself.
And then for those friends that are tuning in with us,
Yes.
that are trying to figure it out, you may wonder, well, how do you get to a point where I do know who I am? Well, it starts now. Cut the line. It starts now. It doesn't start tonight. It doesn't start in an hour. It starts right now. And the way you have to go about that, give yourself an affirmation. Goes back to your gratitude journal that you like to do. Goes back just doing a gratitude journal. Think of 5 things that you're grateful for. Can't think of 5 things? That's fine. Okay, maybe you can only think of 3. Okay, that's 3 things that you just wrote down that you wouldn't have written down a moment ago. Okay, gratitude. Okay. Now let's go to self-reflection. Man, I love who I've become. I'm not in love with myself, but I love the person I'm going to become. Going, not am, going. So it's starting. That's what I use. That's what I did. I used to write down like, I am strong, even if I didn't believe it. I still wrote it down. I was like, man, I'm not strong.
I have a question
strong
for you.
But
A question for you.
Yeah.
Would you say you're strong?
Yeah.
Today?
Yep.
Look at that. Look at that. Right there. That is evidence. That there was a moment where you wrote that down and you did not feel that.
And I truly believe it right now.
And you truly feel it, you know it, and you believe it. And it started with what? Right?
Power of the mind.
Power of the mind.
Your mind will make you, once you get control of your mind can actually get you to start believing things if you allow it to. It can hurt you, but it can also help you. It's another tool. But it's about taking. So just doing one thing at a time. Shoot. One day a week. I like to do one night, write down, I like who I am going to become. Start with life. Just write that one sentence. All right, good. That's how you got to start. But you got to start somewhere. And you have to be patient and realize it's going to take time.
Yeah.
And don't put a time limit on when you think you're supposed to be put together or the age that you're supposed to be put together. Allow it to happen naturally and give up trying to dictate the direction of your life and just live your life. Live your life, but live your life to the fullest. Each and every day.
Each and every day. Yeah. You're speaking to 20-year-old me because 20-year-old me, I always put a time on it. I'm like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this at this age. I'm going to become this type of person. I'm going to do it at this age. I'm going to write this book and I'm going to publish this book at this age. You know, from 20, I wrote my first book at age 20. It's still not published on the book shelf.
It is?
It's not.
It's not.
Why
Why
not?
not?
Well, we'll get to that.
Whoa.
We'll get to that. Look at that. But then I started writing the second version of the first version. Halfway done with that book. But I've been writing the second version for the past 3 years. And I one day had a breakdown because I'm like, why am I not publishing this book? Time. I gave myself a time limit on when it's supposed to be done. And not there's a time and place for things to have a deadline. Okay, don't want to go too far in the left, because there's a gray area here. But there's just some moments in life where when it's the right time, it will just happen. Like this, when we first talked about this, in my mind, I was like, okay, let's do this in a few months. Let's really plan this thing out and talk about this and do all the things in a few months, and you're like, no, let's do it now. I give us 2
I'm cutting.
weeks.
I'm cutting. We're doing it now. We're starting today.
And once we started that, okay, we're doing this in 2 weeks, and we start to gather the things we can gather for day one, everything fell into place. That's how you know when it's time. You know it's time when things come to you, things fall into place, and things just naturally just show up. When you make a decision, I'm doing this, and everything lines up, that's how you know it's the right time. Sorry, I kind of took over a little bit. But
No, because I want our friends to hear about your childhood. So I'm glad you took over and everything.
I think we might have to do episode 2.
Part 2?
I think we might have to do a part 2.
Is it really?
Because we got about a good 20 minutes left.
We're gonna make that the next episode. We can just keep on with this conversation, and then next episode, we want to hear about your childhood when you're growing up. But
yeah, I'll share mine too with you guys because it's a remarkable story. I think back to when I was a kid, and
just don't go into too much detail because this is the next episode. Okay. We got to make sure our friends tune in to the next episode.
Oh, yeah,
you can give a little snippet,
Hey,
know?
Listen.
Here you go. A little sprinkle.
Yeah. Beat me here, don't meet me here.
But now finish your thought. I just wanted to put that out there so that way we actually have time to dive in and talk.
Yeah, okay. But just when I was a kid, I've always been a visual person. I've always seen things before I saw it, and it's so weird. I feel like I sometimes know things before I actually see things. There's something in me that's like, yeah, that happened, and then it'll happen, and it's not a surprise to me. Mm-hmm. Something inside of me that happened, or that's going to happen. It's so weird. But also, I think that's just alignment. When you are aligning with who you are, and you're aligning with the universe, and you're aligning with the character person that you're created to be, things kind of just come to you, and it's for good purposes and good reasons, and only certain people will get this. Some people are just gonna go whoo, and that's okay. It's not for you, but there's some people that's really gonna resonate with that because there's been so many moments in my life where, as a kid, I look at where I'm at now, and I look at where I was as a child growing up, and I'm like, wow. I'm where I wanted to be, and I saw it there. And I didn't know that I had to go through certain avenues and certain roads and stumbling blocks and hurts and pains and confusions and identity crises and all the things to get here. But this seat that I'm sitting on right now, I would do it all over again just to get right back here to this seat because this is where I want to be. And I'll leave you with that. Tune in to next week's episode.
Right here on Feeling Saucy.
Feeling Saucy.
But
And bring your sauce with you too.
But no, that's that's important also to kind of mention that too, because it you're saying to all this that it everyone goes through things, and people think that's part of the whole victim mentality that a lot of people have. Poor me, this happened to me, this happened to this, or all your me.
Mm.
This happened to me, that happened to me, this happened to me. How do I get through that? How do I get through? People think that they're the only people that go through.
Mm.
Everyone has their story that they go through and experience, but because you are who you are, you're the only person that's gonna experience that story. Because you're the only person that's going to grow into the person that you're supposed to be. You weren't placed in this world to be duplicated. You're placed in this world to be authentic. So no one else is going to experience one thing identical as you. So you may be going through things that maybe you felt like some of you guys, some of friends, um, or even Tyrone, just something that I've gone through that gives me, the nervous that I was talking about. Some people may have that same emotion.
Yeah.
It may not be the same story, but it's the same emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And really, I think those are really the people that really drive me to want to sit here and help, not help, but walk alongside or be alongside with them.
Yes. Because
I want them to become a victor.
Yeah.
I'm still writing. But you also have to learn that each day you're still gonna have your struggles. You won't ever come to a point where you're having 100%. There's always gonna be things that you're trying to work through. There's always gonna be times where, oh my gosh, my emotion. There's times where my emotion gets the best of me, and then but it's the difference now to where I'm like, okay, I can sit back, take control, and really process it. But I know where I'm processing it from versus not knowing where I'm processing it from. But that's honestly why I'm sitting and share to sit here and do it with my brother, but also just to help anybody who just has those emotions and just trying to learn how to get through it, because it's not the end.
It's not, and it's just a part of the process. And another good thing to do along the way, which I think you would agree with, is surrounding yourself with good, positive content. Like one of the things I did was I looked up to people who had the things that I wanted in life, and I listened to them. And I know that my life is not going to mirror exactly those people. My life has a different path, and I have a different purpose, and I'm going to fulfill those things. But having good music to listen to, ooh, some wisdom's coming out of my mouth. Yes, having some good music to listen to that lifts your spirit. That fills you up. Having some good TV content. Having some good friends and good communities. That you surround yourself with, that you can go to and you can walk away from and feel uplifted. Like those things add, and they help along the way, along the journey, because this is a journey, and like what's going to happen is we're going to age, and as we age, you want to continue to grow and mature and develop, personally develop. I see a lot of people age, but they don't personally develop.
Yes.
That's scary.
That's honestly, it's unfortunate, but it's majority of people.
It is. Like, I mean, for me personally, and I'm just being blunt, I give myself a rule of life. I said for the 20s, we're going to F it up. We're going to do our big one. We're going to go hard. We're going to party. Of course, I'm also like naturally, I'm a hardworking man. Like I like nice things. Like like I like balance. So like in my younger 20s, I partied super hard. And I had fun. And now that I'm like 28, so I'm like leaning more towards like, okay, I gotta prepare for 30s because 30s is like I have plans for my 30s to really dive deep into a career and really build something. I wanna hold on to that thing and I wanna drive it all the way to 40.
And I'm at the beginning stages of that.
Yeah.
What are we in October? I'll be 30 in February. So lately I've been thinking about like, this next decade is about to approach. It's like a few months away. So
and then another thing that happens in the 30 decade is like love, comes, like also our manhood maturity, it hits something at 30.
And I've heard, and I've also heard a common thing is 30 is a great time of life.
Really?
Yeah. Like, you're like, I haven't heard that.
I mean, I've heard people say, like, I really like my 30s. I'm better now than I was in my 20s. Yeah.
But it's a big importance in life. Like, you learn a lot of, like, there's just a lot. I can't really speak.
Yeah.
I haven't experienced my 30s, or I haven't hit 30, or, I mean, 30, you're not in your 30s. You're starting your 30s. So really, what have you experienced? But I've just heard so many people that are at the end of their 30s or past 30s. And they're just like 30s, I felt like was a very important time in your life. But I feel like I'm starting to feel it just with everything I've been doing recently.
Yeah.
Like I'm building the momentum to go into my 30s. So when February comes around and 30 hits, I'm like, man, I see this and this and this happening.
Yeah.
Again, I see this and this, but I'm not putting a time frame on it. Key part. Not putting a time frame on it because that's where you're just gonna get unmotivated.
Yeah, I had a friend. He told me that when I turn 30, I'm gonna be happy and I'm gonna be in love. I'm gonna find someone to be in love. And like, that didn't happen, and I think that really pushed him in a path where kind of losing a sense of who he currently is because he didn't get what he thought he should have gotten at 30. And that's what we were saying earlier. It's like, trusting the time, because like those things will come to you, but they will come to you at the right time.
Yeah, and I feel like when you start thinking of it like in that perspective, it's like I feel like you're putting so much pressure on the person you're supposed to find and the person you're supposed to be in love, to where you're not focused on yourself to help develop yourself to be that person, that person you fall in love with loves you in return. So you have to be like, okay, that is my goal. But what do I need to do today? Okay, I have to be okay if it doesn't reach. But I'm not going to worry about, for example, say like I wanted to do something by the time I'm 35. I'm like, okay, I want to do this when I'm 35. And I just hope that it happens. Okay, well, what am I going to do today to direct my life towards that? Okay, I'm going to start directing my life towards that. Okay, do I feel good about what I'm doing to take the step forward in that direction? So you can't, I'm speaking to myself. This is just what I've taken out of my life. Everyone's going to connect or resonate with me. But for those people who do, or are like listening and want to take the steps, it's just focus on who you are. If you focus on who you are, or focus on who you're becoming, everything else is going to align. You're going to get the house when you get the house. Or when I say get the house, I mean purchase a house. You're going to fall in love when you're supposed to fall in love. Everything is going to happen at the right time. Going back to the beginning of our conversation, everything's going to fall in line when it's meant to happen. But you have to look yourself in the mirror. Going back to our last episode, not going to go too far into it.
Yeah.
'Cause they got to listen if they haven't already.
Yeah, but it's like I hear what you're saying. You're saying focus on who you are right now, today. As of 9:04, who am I?
Yep. Yeah.
That part, and then propelling everything else forward from there.
Yep. Because think about it. If somebody is,
I had to break that down for the people that are processing all of this at once.
I'm glad you broke that down.
Yeah.
Think about it. If like you say, if you're 26 and you're like, I want to be in love by the age of 32, or I know I'm going to be in love by the age of 32. Like, how do you know this? You're not the same person that you're going to be at 32 that you are today. And that's where it ties back in to people who are older, but still act like they're a child because they're looking too much in the future versus looking at who they are today.
Whew. Now that right there, that's an episode by itself. Because I would love to spend a lot of time on that one. But in essence of 60 minutes, say we close on a few things. We talked about roots.
Well, we talked about my roots. Next episode, we're talking about your roots.
Okay.
Next episode is all your roots.
Oh my God! All my
on your roots.
Every last freaking root I got.
And for everyone who's listening, we appreciate you listening. Also, our conversation is just natural conversation.
Yes.
Nothing scripted. Just so you know, it's just us just having. This is talks that we have each and every day that we're together, off and on camera.
Yeah.
It's about finding a community to build each other, and that's really why we're here. I know with the last episode we talked about why we're here, but I just feel like in case no one saw that last episode, we're here for a reason.
Yeah.
We don't have it all together.
Not at all.
We're supposed to be going through life together, and if I can connect with some people, and Mo connect with some people, we can bring more people to figure out who they are, and then I feel like it can help also at the end bring the world into a better place and potentially even bring all the hate and just disconnect that the world has today, because everyone's talking about how things need to change, but what are you doing to change the world?
Yeah.
It goes back
Right there.
the world struggles. Okay, the world struggles. You recognize that. What are you going to do? Oh, I don't know. The world just struggles. Okay, well then, are you a part of the reason why the world struggles?
Yeah.
Because you're not doing anything to change it.
They want to give the responsibility to Trump. They want to give the responsibility to Kamala. They want to give the responsibility. Everyone wants to delegate the responsibility. When every day you can make a choice to be a certain person that changes the world. Every day, I choose to be a certain person that shows love. That changes the world right there. Every day, I wake up and I decide I'm gonna show some love today.
Exactly.
Every day.
Oh man,
Every single day.
That's so true, because everyone also thinks of
Every day.
changing the world on a big giant spectrum.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's just living your life.
Just a little simple.
You were just positive, and you never know who you run across. Run across one person who had a bad day, and you'd be like, you know what? I like your shoes, or I like your shoes. Where'd you get them from?
Oh, Goodwill. No kidding.
Like, thank you for letting me know, and that could make that person's day.
Yeah, it could change the whole course.
You just changed, and then he's gonna go on about his day, and he's gonna be positive to somebody else, and then that person is gonna have their day made and change somebody else. Look, you just changed 3. It just started with you. 3 different people changed. It's not about changing everybody at once. It's about just living your life to the best each and every day. Just be the best version of yourself, and eventually people will feel that off of you. People will read that off of you. Even from the moment you walk into the room, people will notice, get the vibe. It will just naturally come. But I'm gonna keep going. We gotta start wrapping up the episode, but it's just
love thy neighbor.
Yeah,
love your neighbor. Just love yourself first. and then love your neighbor. And let just that lead you forward to become a better person. And watch what that does to you. It's going to create something inside.
Be the best person you can each and every day.
Every day.
It doesn't mean you're not going to make mistakes, but when you do make a mistake that day, take a step back and just reflect.
Right.
If you can't reflect at that moment, you're like, okay, well then I got to learn to reflect in the moment. So then, at the end of the day, look back at your day and be like, okay, well I reacted that way. Why couldn't I take control at that moment? And then look at yourself in the mirror, into your eyes when you talk. That's how I did my affirmations.
Yeah.
You got to say it out loud. But that's where I would sit there and do affirmations. I used to have like the affirmation app on my phone and this and that. It didn't impact me personally.
Really?
Yeah. I had to look at myself in the mirror because I had to look at DeAndre for who he is and how he's that day.
Wow. Ooh, I want to get deeper into that because I'm an affirmation. I love the apps. Like I get notifications. I want to say every hour up until 9 p.m. at night. So 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. every single hour I get an affirmation sent to my phone and all my Apple tablets, and then I just look. Okay. Period. I am light and I walk in love. Period. I like that. Next hour, something. Just like it, and those little things, it just helps me stop and pause. But because I've done both. I started off with the mirror stuff, and then that led into this now because I kind of fell off.
See, and that's where we're just different.
Yeah,
we're all unique, stitched into our own person, and that's where you're gonna relate to people who don't relate with me, and I'm gonna relate with people who don't relate with you.
Yeah, but overall, we're doing the same thing. You know, like we're investing in ourselves. You know, we're depositing into our savings account.
Yeah,
and this is how you will feel saucy.
Feeling saucy. Yep, this is how it all came together. Feeling saucy about talking real life stuff and not just sitting there and just talking about the glamour and just the money and the women and the men and all of that. It's talking about real life things because that's where it all starts. So,
it's good.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
All right, but to start wrapping this up, I just want to say that just so they know and everything, we're gonna figure out a way. We want to get you guys involved.
Yes.
So if you have any thoughts about anything we talked about, or if there's anything you want to tell us in general, we want to interact because this isn't just about DeAndre and Tyrone talking. It's about all of us talking. And we want to hear your input. And we're all working together. So if there's perspectives that you have that we didn't talk about, I would love to hear them.
Yeah, please.
You can put them on the comments. You can direct message if you don't feel comfortable putting it on the comments. So I am working on the YouTube portion. So if you have any questions with me or just even Tyrone, you can comment on YouTube. Tyrone's on YouTube also. Tyrone's on Instagram, so if you have any questions or anything, that goes directly to Tyrone, but also I'm available on Instagram too. So you're in direct communication and we're going to respond. This whole podcast is to be interactive.
Absolutely.
So please, I don't want to ask you for your likes. I want you to authentically like the video if you like it.
Yes.
But we want you to be engaged. So please just engage in comments because we want to talk with you guys.
Absolutely. And I'll add to that. I'm not your therapist. So we are not, no. Bless your heart. If that's what you need, I will guide you to someone strong and I can throw you to someone that can help you if that's what you're looking for. I say that with love. We say that with love. But what we're looking for is we want to have a conversation. We want to open up the space to hear from you guys, to hear what we say in this hour of power that is impactful to you, that uplifts you, that light switch turns on in you. You're like, oh, that makes sense. We want to hear that. You know, anything, whether it's like anything we say, anything we do, even if it's a joke, something funny we said or something funny I say, like, just, comment. Let us know. We want to hear from you. We want this to be something that this is a community that we're building here. and we want you to be a part of it. So please join us on this journey. And thank you. Anything else, brother?
Yeah, I think I'm good.
We're
You know,
good?
I think we got some great messages out and
I think so,
everything.
too.
I think this was a really solid.
This was good. This episode 2 was good. This is fun.
It was.
It was.
Feeling good, you know?
Good. Well, on that note, thank you guys so much for tuning in to season 2. Oh, whoa. I'm manifesting that. Episode 2. Episode 2 of Feeling Saucy with DeAndre and Tyrone. We love you. We appreciate your time. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.
Have a good week.